Thank you, Sharon. Good afternoon, everybody. It is Wednesday, 20 November 2024, and this is the regular board meeting of the Water Valley Select Board. I am Rich Reeder, the chair. Here today is Vice Chair Bob Freeze and Select Board Member Wendy Rathenberg, so we have a quorum. We're going to move first to two public hearings. The first one I will open will be for the highway regulation changes that the staff and the select board are considering. The way we're going to do it is I'll open a public hearing. The board will hear what the public would like to say about these changes, if anything. And actually, we will discuss them further as a board later in the meeting. So if I could have a motion to go into public hearing on the highway regulations draft change. I'll second. All right. All in favor? Aye. All right. So
Could I outline the changes and then we can
took
discuss
the words out of my mouth.
Okay. Yeah, so our highway regulations were initially adopted in 1992 and have not been changed since. Basically, the majority of the changes are to bring them in line with current state statutes. As far as how the town goes about granting things like driveway openings onto town roads, how we classify roads, who is responsible as far as property owners and the town within the right of way, just outside of the right of way for the roads and those sorts of things. A lot of this stuff is controlled by state statute. But we needed to update the document from 1992. A major piece of the changes that are being proposed would be with regards to winter maintenance. The town had never had a set section within our highway regs that addressed plowing of the road and overall winter maintenance. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, there's like 5 or 6 pages here of additional regs with how we are going to do snow removal, how we're going to do treatment of the roads during storms, what is how we're going to communicate between vehicles, and a lot of technical stuff that is staff centric rather than just with the public. But I don't know if the board had any particular questions on this section or things that you saw that might cause questions among the public. But that is the majority between the update of the regulatory piece and the addition of the winter maintenance, snow and ice removal piece. Those are the major changes that we're making in the regs. And I don't know if you guys want to make comments that people can then hear, might answer questions.
Okay.
Front.
First, let me see, has anyone had an opportunity to look at the draft and would like to make any comments before the board, if anyone on the board wishes to comment at this time? We do have it later on the agenda, but there are perhaps a couple things that are more generic that would be helpful in front of the public, because
or any questions on highway regulations in general and why we have them.
Bob or when did you have? Anything?
I gave comments at our last meeting about
yeah, this is the second or third time.
Bond requirements.
Yep. And those are set out statutory.
Insurance wording on the insurance.
Yep.
Right.
I just had a lot of what my comments are grammatical corrections, but on line 503 in addressing sidewalks.
Yep.
There's a note, or it describes that if the sidewalk directly abuts the traveled way, and the granite curbing, so I guess we're down to 510.
I see 509,
511.
510. Yeah.
And if the sidewalk is separated from the roadway sorry.
The
There was a-
sidewalk directly abuts the traveled way.
Right, and we can't have the granite curbing.
Mhm.
Oh, when I was looking at it, so do we not have anything where it's only that there's gonna be granite, period? I guess
That
was-
is
that is
the
the only-
preferred way, yes.
Okay. Okay,
If we can't put it in, then it would be however designed.
and do
We
we
have
need
that
to,
flexibility.
do we need to stipulate in here that it would be wider? Because that is what we have done, is having the
This
8
is,
foot
this
plus-
is laying out the minimum of 5 feet.
Okay. So there wouldn't be a situation in which there couldn't be a granite curbing installed and the sidewalk would only be 5 feet and then abutting the roadway without a granite curbing? You see what I'm saying?
If it were only 5 feet wide.
Right, we wouldn't do that if there was not a granite
Correct.
curbing. Okay. So I wasn't sure if we needed to stipulate.
On the
that.
sidewalk, this does
Right.
not, this is specifically for sidewalks, not for
Multi-use paths.
multi-use path.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we don't want to.
And you always, there is
Mhm.
language in here where it can be modified on a plan by plan
Right,
basis.
Well, I think that's important for the whole document, that,
Mhm.
you know, because of potential lawsuits.
Yeah.
I think if we're so specific,
Okay,
and then there's a lawsuit because, you know, I don't know what.
we didn't build it that way or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so there needs to be wording in here that says that they, you know, based on circumstances, yeah, weather, circumstances, whatever, that the town reserves the rights through this whole document, through the Department of Public Works or the Select Board or the
Mhm.
town manager,
Mhm.
to modify as appropriate.
Okay,
Otherwise, you're gonna be held to a strict standard
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
case of a potential lawsuit.
right.
okay,
Along those lines, I had a comment of, starting at line 665. And this is
Yeah.
the section of
Yeah.
mailboxes and other structures.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not sure why we have sort of a preamble to that section talking about
Yeah, right.
plowing
Lead
procedures that
policy.
are frequently misunderstood. I mean, I think we just put in what the town's view of the matter is.
okay,
So, we can go over it in specifics. I didn't rewrite it. It's just that we kind of get to the bottom line at the bottom. I don't think we have to say that this damage is
Yeah.
not deliberate,
right,
yeah,
Yeah.
that sort of thing. And
Okay.
it holds true as well if you go to line 712, the section on damage to private property.
mhm,
Yeah.
It's a bit repetitive from what you've said, of what we've written earlier. But again, I think we can pare down those sections to just
Yes.
say,
okay,
in the town right of way, any structures in the town right of way or lawn or bushes, it's not the responsibility of the town if they are damaged, because they are in the town right of
Right.
way at the
Right.
town suffering.
Fair game.
yeah.
Well, you could, if you want to put it that way.
no, we'll find a different way to say it, but yes, that's the idea. So with making those sorts of changes, why don't we modify it again?
Sure,
Bring it back to you,
yep,
make sure that we've gotten the
Right.
intent, and then bring it back to another hearing. We'll post a version of it online and then notice another public
Okay.
hearing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Everything else I have is more like it's either drafting comments or
Yeah,
grammar,
I'll
that sort of
take,
thing.
I'll
We can
take
get
that
those
list,
later.
go through
Okay.
those.
Yeah,
Yeah, my only other comment was like on 685, where all the public buildings are listed out.
Mhm.
But the school is not,
Right.
and I thought that would be
Yeah.
important.
Can I ask where on the website is the original and the proposed changes? I can.
It should be under the Public Works tab,
I looked there, I didn't see it.
is it not?
Is it called highway something?
It would have been highway regulations. If,
Yeah, we're gonna do this again, Patty,
We're gonna
so
do it again.
if you, we'll make,
No, we'll put a link up on the front page. We'll put a link up on the front page.
it's just the actual title is Highway. Let me get it back again.
Still goes- I'm looking
Highway
under-
Department Road Regulations and Specifications. It's not coming up.
You don't see it? Okay,
Is there a way when we have our agendas, when anything we're gonna discuss, we'll have a link embedded in the agenda online?
There is, like, the last time when we had a public hearing, there was
That's
a
right,
link
but
to
yeah.
the new document. This
Right.
time I didn't see a link to the old one or the new one, and I couldn't find it.
okay. Make sure that happens.
Any other comment on the proposed changes to the highway
So
regulations?
our timeline would be to make changes, come back to the first meeting in December. Verify that we've gotten the changes done. We'll post another copy, a copy of the regs online. And schedule a public hearing for the second meeting in
Sure.
December or first.
Or the
meeting in
first,
January.
if our next meeting is on 4 December at 3 PM here.
No, we're gonna.
Of December.
We're bringing the revised document to you on the 4th.
Okay, so we'll
Right.
review it.
So that we are gonna review it one more
Right.
time, make sure it's right.
Right,
Okay.
Then we're gonna post it and notice a public hearing. Either for the 18th or the first meeting in January.
that's
Which-
fine.
Whatever you wanna do.
No, that's fine. But if we're gonna talk about it on the 4th, I mean, just wanted to
Mhm.
make that point to
Yeah,
the folks
okay.
here that.
Can you highlight the changes?
We
so
will.
that The next
We will.
time we see,
Mhm.
we'll know where to
Yeah.
look instead of reading the whole thing again.
And you want us just to type out the little grammatical things?
If you give me that, that'll be good enough. We'll
And
make the
It's
change.
legible, okay,
It'll be,
Okay.
I'll call you if
okay.
you have, if I have any questions.
Charles, you had your hand up for a comment, question?
Briefly. Yes, Charles Hastings, I've not seen this document either. The only thing I can think of that would concern me about, this new documentation is salt. And so my question is there anything in the, either the new state regulations or the updated Waterville Valley that stipulates anything about the use of salt or salt alternatives? Given that a number of people in the community are concerned about trying to cut back on this, you know, that Megan has been trying to cut back.
Mhm.
Not having seen this document, is this addressed anywhere?
Yes, it's part of the snow removal section, and I'll highlight that, send it out to the Conservation Commission.
Perhaps you should put something more in there about
Yes.
finding substitutes.
Yeah.
Any other comments or questions with regard to the proposed changes to the highway regulations? All right, I will close the public hearing. Does the board want to take up the matter further at this point?
What, you got
We're gonna wait.
a second item on the public hearing?
Right, but I just want to close out the highway regulations, make sure nobody has any further comments on them at this time.
We have time to talk about it later.
Okay.
Yeah.
All righty, well then let's move to the next public hearing. If I can have a motion to open a public hearing on the Boulder Path Road multi-use path options.
Moved,
Second,
All in favor?
right?
All right, the public hearing is open. And again, once again, Mark, would you like to
Yeah.
give us a little bit of a preamble here?
So we're gonna share some information on the Zoom portion of the meeting so that people can see it. I'm gonna turn this a little bit so everybody here can see.
Which one would you like there, Mike?
I'd like to move from left to right, so we're gonna go over what the options are first. The first we're gonna talk specifics about two options today. There were actually three options looked at. The first option was to just put it back exactly the way that it is. So do the resurfacing of the road exactly where it is and use the existing sidewalk and just redo it, and it would have the space in between the sidewalk and the road. That although we looked at it and costed that option out, we did not take it much further than that because the engineer pointed out from the beginning that drainage is problematic, keeping it the way that it is. The road surface, we cannot get the water to drain properly, even if we crown it and everything else. So that option would deteriorate very quickly. Okay, so we set that aside and did not do much more work with that. Other than we did get a cost estimate of about $1 million. And a contingency of about $250,000 to put it back exactly the way that it is, all right? The next option that we looked at, we called option. Nope. Read this.
Already on two.
Yeah, I gotta go to two. I gotta go back to two. So let's go right here. This one right here. There we go. Here's option 2A. All right, is what we've termed it. This option has a price tag of, an estimated price tag of about $1,075,000 with a contingency of about $275,000 for a total of $1.4 million. Okay, this one is the road stays in its current location, right, where it is right now on the ground. And we redo the sidewalk and bring it directly adjacent to the traveled way of the road. And there is a granite curb that is between the sidewalk and the road. And there is a granite curb on the other side of the road. All right, so as you go down here, this bold dotted line is the curb line. The yellow is the existing and the new redone traveled way for vehicles. And the purple color is the 8-foot wide multi-use path. So this structure of having the path raised up a little bit and with the granite curbing looks exactly like the sidewalk between Village Road and the bridge on Valley Road. Okay, so you've got the cars going, you've got a curb, and then you've got the multi-use path. All right. But for this option, if you go down. So this, I'm sorry, wait. So we have a crosswalk here already. And the side or the multi-use path would come out and then right at the entrance into the maintenance area for the golf course, it would join adjacent to the road, right? And then as we move to the north, I'm gonna use this as north. It's following right along the edge of the road. So if you go down, just scroll down. There you go, yep, perfect. Keep going. There. So we keep moving, this is the parking lot for the maintenance building. We're still along the east side of the road, right? Coming along here. And there's granite curbing along both sides, west side, sorry, west side of the road. Granite curbing along the entire road. Go to the next one. Keep drawing it down. There we go. There we go. And then when you get to where the cart paths are, you would have a single pedestrian crossing here. It would not continue to where the pedestrian crossing currently is. It would come out here, and then we would pick up the path on the east side of the road. Again, following the curb, and then have a crosswalk across Snows Mountain Road, and then tie into where the sidewalk is along the tennis courts, and continue up the east side. Go to the last page. Draw this down. And it comes up past the golf court, the tennis courts, And then instead of coming back in, it just continues straight. And then here at the library, we have a pedestrian crossing here. And the side or the multi-use path finishes in front of BBTS. So that is option, we're calling it 2A, 1. There's so many, there were like 6 options. Yes, Mike,
Curbing on both sides,
curbing on both sides. The reason for that is the control, primarily the control of stormwater. All right, this entire thing drains to the south, right down the road right now. By putting in curbing, we can put drainage structures along that curbing as we go. And we're able to get the stormwater underground and moving down to the south. We'll take it across Valley Road and probably bring it into the big swale that's along Village Road. Okay, so
Is all of that in these numbers?
all of that is in the numbers, in the cost estimates that we have right now.
So with all those driveways, once you cross the street and now you're on the golf course side,
Mhm.
that becomes the tennis court side.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of driveways, there'll be
Yeah.
curbing.
No,
next there.
yeah, there will be curbing with turn downs and,
Yeah.
yeah. And the actual drainage design and, plans, I don't know where the structures are yet. But the engineer is working, he's working detailed plans of the next option that I'm gonna show you. And so that we can refine the cost estimate numbers. All right, so, that is, the other benefit to doing it this way with the stormwater and putting it underground and controlling it is we really see the state DES coming out with stormwater management in the near future. So you will actually have to have a system like a sewer system that is about controlling stormwater. So this takes us down that road so that we're able to do it.
So this one could be modified to cross the road where it currently crosses the road. And you just have to have a place for the golf carts to go across from the.
Yeah, go back up one. Yes, and actually that's option 2B1. Okay,
So
we
you
did
could-
look at that.
So you could
So-
cross,
We did extend this up to here and then so we had a crossing here, a break in the granite curb to cross golf carts here, and then pedestrians here that we looked at.
right at the,
Um,
right at the corner, right there.
Yeah.
Isn't there either a hydrant or something
Yeah,
there?
Those,
There's a hydrant.
those can all be relocated. Yeah. Yeah, there is.
Is there a reason for ending the path at the school and not extending it?
Yeah, the right of way becomes very narrow there and there isn't enough room to build this after BBTS. Yeah,
Will the curbs be vertical or Nantucket?
they'll be a vertical reveal, 3 inches.
Have you considered tilting them at a 45-degree angle?
From a snow maintenance standpoint, no, we try to keep them vertical.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cause it's easy for bicyclists to get up.
I know, and that is, but it's also more difficult for maintenance.
Okay.
I think the
Going
point
forward.
too, and we have another option for everyone to look at, but I think the point too is to keep the bicyclists on the road.
Right.
Except for the inexperienced or the children.
Good plan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we all know, especially those who've been in the military, what happens with good plans.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so let's look at the last.
So,
It's
Mark,
it's the first one.
did you want to mention the easement differences or?
Oh,
was it-
yes, so before we leave. Yeah, before we leave this option. everything that we're doing is within the existing right of way that the town owns, okay, in all of our options. This, and I take that back, there are small sections that we will have in the other plan that we're gonna look at here, that we'll have to talk to Craig and modify some of the easements along the golf course, but we've already gone over these plans with Craig, and in concept, he's okay with making the modifications. An example is here, the town right of way bends out like this. We would probably adjust this property line to go straight across and those sorts of things. So there'll be very minor modifications, no wholesale changes of the rights of way. Okay,
So at the tennis course right
Yeah.
now, it rises up a little bit.
Yeah.
Is that all gonna go away and?
yes,
Okay.
it'll be that 3-inch reveal of the curb, and
What happens to that sidewalk that's there now?
it will go away.
It'll go away.
And the landscaping, the drain, you know, the way that they shape it will be modified. to
So that'll be
fit it.
grass.
Yeah, it'll be grass.
Okay.
Yeah, you can see there is plans to actually make this so that there is some open curb or open swale type of an area for the water to drain away from the multi-use path. So that'll be built into the plan. Like I said, they're doing more detailed final design on the plan we're gonna look at right now. So let's go to the other one. Alright, so difference is we take everything from the west side and we move it over to the east side. We would discontinue the crosswalk where it is right now on Snow's Brook Road. And we would move it down here on Valley Road. This is Valley Road to here and Snow's Brook to here, right?
Mhm.
So we would move it down and we would do a single pedestrian crosswalk here. And we would begin the multi-use path and the curbing right here and move it around the corner. And this has an advantage of helping to define the on-street parking spots that we have down here. Just giving it a little more definition as you go around the corner. Craig has talked about potentially moving his gazebo when we do this. Either in this area up here or even down here on the corner and putting it in the tree, you know, landscaping it and putting it right here on the corner. We haven't finalized that, but those are his 2 ideas. All right, so this plan puts it all on the east side, puts multi-use path all on the east side. Go to the next picture.
Can I ask?
And we have a crosswalk here.
So in the previous design,
Mhm.
the curbing starts where? Because that corner that you're pointing at right there
Mhm.
is a horrible corner. Right?
Mhm.
Anybody that lives on that side knows that we fill it in, it becomes a pothole, we fill it in, it becomes a pothole.
Mhm.
Does it on the plan
It goes
two-
out to here,
Right,
2A1, it goes out to here.
2A1, but see where it's purple on that corner that you're talking about?
Yeah, right
Right
here.
there, will they be curbing in the
Yes.
2A1 there as well,
Curbing goes all the way to here.
on the previous plan?
On the previous plan, I think it stops like right in here.
So it'll still help.
It goes around the
It'll
corner.
still help that corner.
And the whole drainage design will, like I said, we're gonna take the water going this way and go out this, so the engineer will work this whole area.
Right, so the
Yeah.
point is both plans deal with that corner.
Yes.
Okay,
And is it worth mentioning that we're not adding on to where we're shifting the road in this one?
Yeah, so, well, this one does shift the road.
That's what I'm
This
saying,
one,
yes.
so the previous plan, we didn't have to move the road. You'll notice the yellow piece has moved to the west, right? It moved up. And That's why this cost is the highest cost of all of the plans. This one has a base cost of $1,401,000 with a $350,000 contingency. Because we have to take the entire surface where the sidewalk currently is, the grass strip and the road, and we have to rearrange it all. Okay, so this is the most expensive option. So we bring the multi-use path up here, we've got an opening in the curb for pedestrian and golf cart crossing, whatever they need to do here. And keep going.
So just to be 100% clear, there's a curbing between the purple and the yellow,
Yes. This dotted line is the curb.
so it's a sidewalk.
It's an 8-foot wide sidewalk. With a curb. Okay, and then, I'm sorry, this is another spot that the gazebo could go. I mean, again, we've got to work out the specifics with Craig. On the location of that. You'll see the green spot, the green color on both sides is this drainage and groundwork, site work that they are gonna be doing on each side. To give us, in addition to the enclosed drainage, there'll be a bit of a swale on both sides of the road. So that's what the green is. And some of that does extend out onto the golf course outside of the right of way, but it's all grass, so. It's really, Craig did not have a problem with any of that.
Again, both these plans, just thinking about the golf course and
Mm-hmm.
the big pine trees on hole 7, I think it is, yeah, hole 7.
Yeah.
I'm worried about damage to those pine trees are,
Some of the trees get moved around as part of this. The dead ones get removed.
which is good.
None of these living maples will be affected,
Yeah,
so they'll all stay there. This dead one right here goes, and there's some more as we go.
There's a half a dozen of them.
There's probably 5 or 6 of them that go away. Keep going up the road. Okay, you got the same golf cart path here that we had in 2A1. Again, we've got straight across, there's a bunch of trees here that will be affected.
Right.
Have to be either relocated or new trees planted. When these are taken down, that'll be really up to Craig. The majority of the trees are not on the town right of way anyway, but we will work with Craig to get rid of the old ones. As we go. And then you do the crossing of Snows Mountain Road and continue up the same way as the other option, yeah.
During plowing season, on the sidewalk, will you use a pickup truck with a plow?
No, we'll use the Bobcat. We use the Bobcat, or in this option, this is the preferred option from the staff standpoint. For public works, it's the easiest and most efficient way to maintain, because we can put the wing on it. We can put the wing on the multi-use path, and we can go down the road. It's all on the same side, and it's very easy to maintain.
That'll go over the top of the curb, you mean?
Yeah, it'll sit, yeah, the end of the wing
Yep.
comes up and it lays
Understood.
horizontal, can lay right on that path, and they can go right up the path if they need to.
Yeah.
Or we can utilize the Bobcat, and having an 8-foot wide multi-use path there, the Bobcat will be fine. We have problems right now with some of our more narrow sidewalks, we can't run the Bobcat on.
And the Bobcat has a snow blower
It
attachment?
has a snow blower attachment.
Have we been using that?
Yeah, well, not yet, we bought it this summer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because the other machine
Well,
is a
spring.
terrible job.
Yeah, that's why we
Yes.
got rid of it.
We got rid of it,
Oh,
and
good,
that's why we have the Bobcat.
good, good. Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why it's 5-foot sidewalks in the highway regulations,
Okay.
because Bobcat will fit on.
Got it.
So, those are the public safety also mentioned that in this option, we have one pedestrian crossing in order to, as we go up, once a person is on the east side on that multi-use path, they can walk the entire length of it and only have this crossing to worry about, rather than move back and forth across. Now, the negative of both of these options with the curbing, there's no on-street parking at all on Boulder Path Road. So,
No different than.
well, now you can get off on the dirt portion, or, there's nothing to impede you getting off the side of the road.
Special Olympics and the.
Special
ski tour.
Olympics and ski joring and those sorts of things will have to go park somewhere else. And we'll have to make other arrangements if this is built this way. Because you would be totally blocking, you'd be in the traveled way of the road because of the curve, so. That's a consideration, but, it is offset by a bunch of other positives, negatives, however you're looking at them. The other thing is there were specific comments always have been made about Boulder Path Road. It's a primary bicycle path to get to Snows Mountain Chairlift. And we have a lot of inexperienced bicyclists. So we have the advantage that the families, young children and all of that can be up here on the 8-foot wide multi-use path. But regular bicycles that are supposed to be following the rules of the road are in the traveled way, and the curbing limits their ability to move to the right. So it is gonna be,
Finish your sentence.
yes, no, go ahead.
My only concern with this one is the pedestrians are gonna be traveling on the right-hand side of hole 7, which is most people slice, and they're gonna move the slice side. Where if they're across the street, you slice, you have trees and the road, and you might not slice that bad. That's why having on the other side, it's really not in the way of the slice, because most people slice what ends up in Brian Lash's yard, right? So
Okay.
from a pedestrian standpoint, it's actually, in my opinion, safer in
Okay.
the version 2.1.1 where it's on the other side of this one from golf balls.
Okay.
And I'm a slicer.
I think there's golf balls everywhere.
Yeah.
On both sides,
Really?
So
so,
I did have one incident on hole 8.
Yes, you did. Were you hooked?
well, I hook, so
Yeah.
I like
Is
this
version
better.
3?
This is version 3A.
3A,
3A.
forget the A. Yeah, the other, from a safety standpoint, the other difference here is that by removing a crosswalk, actually, crosswalks do tend to calm traffic, right? So there'll be no crosswalk at all along the length of this.
Well, there will be, I mean, we could.
Well, we could-
can-
That's
we
a
can-
golf,
Potentially, it's a golf cart.
Do we want to-
crossing,
if we-
but
we could
can
make
mark
that
it
a-
differently. We can put signage there
Right.
for it, I mean, we can handle it either way.
And could we use that golf cart path as a mechanism to plow and let parking on the golf course for ski journey especially?
That's up to the property owner.
So, I mean, that's because there'll be a break in.
There'll be a break in the curb.
so, the select board has reviewed the plans. There were 3 that we looked at, as Mark said. We agreed that the first one, because of drainage issues, was not a preferred plan, so we concentrated on these 2. I also should say that, the numbers in terms of the cost, it's about a $400,000 difference, to have that right. Does not include, say, running another water line down. It's something that we've considered too. It's something that we would like to do. potentially even a sewer line
And
but-
we're getting some concepts.
as to what
plans,
that would
and
be. So
some cost estimates.
these costs
Very
do
rough.
not include that. And the other point I wanted to make was that the select board preliminarily decided on 3A as the better of the two.
I don't think we have. I don't remember.
Well, we instructed the engineering firm to do the detailed planning on that.
But we never had, we've
Uh,
never
we-
had a
we-
discussion about it. I mean,
No, we haven't made a final decision, but I think we preliminarily said, tell the engineers to go ahead and we can go back and look at the meeting. But that's what they're working on, if
Well,
I'm not mistaken.
The engineers, well, in the engineers. That is the impression that I got, and I thought that that was the decision, was to do detailed engineering to get us best cost estimates for town meeting. If we needed to go back, he would just do the detailed engineering on 2A1 as well.
Right.
But that will cost additional money. But we would have the most expensive option in his cost estimates. So that if you wanted to get the designs for 2A1 and decided to go that way, and you had gotten an authorization for an amount of money for 3A, you would have a sufficient authorization to do it.
Mhm.
You know, I thought that we had chosen the one way to look at more detailed planning and more detailed budgeting as 3A.
That was the meeting I missed, so sorry, I can't really.
Yeah, that was the
Well,
meeting
and-
on the 6th.
Yeah.
And I don't think I saw the plans till after that meeting, and we saw them in Mark's office after that meeting, so I hadn't even seen the plans yet.
Right.
No, I mean. You know, it looks to me like the plan 3A or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Is a better plan, but is it worth $400,000 more?
That's the question. I
That's my
think.
question,
Yeah.
and the other thing is, you know, we got a lot of feedback, or a fair amount of feedback from the town. On the multi-use path that we put in a couple of years ago. And I wanna, other than this meeting, I think we gotta make sure that the town has an opportunity to comment.
Yeah.
Well, we would have minimum of 2 more opportunities to comment, and we can have multiple public hearings going into the budget process. Again, we would have the maximum that it would
Right.
cost. A lot of the work that they're doing right now, if we changed to 2A1 and went that way as our decision, a lot of the work that he has done would be relevant. So, but there would be additional work because the drainage would be different than this option.
So at what point? How soon I know they're always backed up, the engineering firms, but. How soon do they have to start working on either the second plan or the third plan, or maybe they already have started, but
They have started
I mean.
working on more detailed plans for the third
I
option.
mean, if the town didn't make a decision until. The end of January to give people an opportunity to give their total input. Is there still time to get the
We'd
engineering
have to
done?
engineer both,
You would have to engineer.
Right, if you're
both
asking for a decision.
If you want,
a decision on which one.
and I know. We can talk about this more, but I would recommend doing doing one warrant article at town meeting. Do it for the authorization of the most expensive way, which is, we know, 3A.
Mhm.
Okay. We would then, if it's $1.5 million, or, $1.5 million,
Eight.
$1.8
E
million
and
or 2 million, okay, so $2 million when he gets all the details done, it comes out at $2 million. Right? You do the authorization for up to the $2 million number. If the decision during the discussion is, we want to go to 2A and we want to do more detailed design work on it, so that we actually build 2A one, then we know that the authorization is there for us to do that, right? And we will get it to fit within that $2 million budget. And it should be what, $400,000 less.
Is it likely
But
we'll
we
do the
don't-
work on this next year,
The final engineering and the bidding would be done next year.
but not the construction?
The construction would be 26.
So I think your plan is good,
Right.
with the higher number in.
Put the higher
warrant.
number in the warrant, and
Mhm.
then we can, and then if he is able to do the more detailed engineering prior to town meeting in March, we can always adjust the authorization down
Sure,
on the bond issue.
sure.
So if we only need 2,500,000 or 1,500,000, that's what we
Mhm.
do.
I just want to make sure that the town people have
Oh,
Yeah.
Plenty of
absolutely.
opportunity to-
I have no, yeah.
to weigh
absolutely.
in.
So I think by choosing 3A to do the detailed work, we've worst cased it. And we can always move down. from
Patty, you had a question?
Benefits of 3AR over the one just before that, over 2A1. Is it just that the walkway, people wouldn't have to cross the street? Is that?
That
There's-
is the major difference.
$1,000?
Well, and that
Maintenance.
is that's your decision.
And maintenance,
And
Snow.
maintenance.
I heard
Yeah.
Maintenance, how? What do you mean?
snow removal of
Would
the,
be
It's
sooner?
more efficient with 3A because you can do it with the wing. You're all on one side, you're
But
not
you can't do
moving
that
back
on the
and
other
forth.
side either, with two? With option
Yeah.
two?
It isn't as easy with option 2. Because you're going up the road, you're coming back down. What I'm saying is you can do this all in one pass. You
With
come around the
option 3.
corner with option 3, you put the wing on the
path.
on the path. And you make one pass up to the BBTS.
Yeah, but you have to make the pass going the other way anyway.
You will make the pass the other way, yep.
but
I
they have to
drive
stop.
by the library onto Boulder Path Road all the time, because that's,
Yeah.
I live past there. Where I see the congestion with bicyclists is at that intersection.
Mhm.
And I'm trying to picture where will bicyclists go if they're taking a left onto West Branch, or if they're coming from West Branch, taking a right onto Boulder Path Road. And I'm wondering if, instead of crossing, to come over to get on this path, they'll just be kind of in the street until they figure out later on how to get on.
I think we have to talk about bicyclists in general with the I think the curbing is gonna be the issue more than
Right, and
anything
if the
else.
curbing's there, they're gonna stay in the street.
Yes.
Longer than.
Yep. They will. Yes, Charles.
Just as a member of the interested public, I think a source of confusion from this discussion that I sense is this term multi-use path.
Mhm.
The multi-use path that was put in on Tecumseh, et cetera, a couple of years ago, people were for it or against it because it was part of the road. It was defined by those two white lines, and those disappear when the snow is there. And that was, I think, a lot of the reluctance to like that. People were uncomfortable walking on the right-hand side of the street where you don't normally walk. And so that's the inherent part of the multi-use path. Now, you've been calling this 8-foot wide sidewalk raised up and separated by a curb also a multi-use path. And if people dislike multi-use paths in general, calling this a multi-use path, unless people read carefully what's going on, they're going to be opposed to it. And so my question is, what is this multi-use path? It means that people are walking on it and bicycles ridden by young children. Is that what makes it
Yes,
a
and
multi-use path as opposed to a sidewalk?
inexperienced bicyclists, because we have the adventure center in town square, renting out bikes and going down this road to get to the lift is a primary path that they want to take. So it does, it will, I think, take educating people more, encouraging the staff at the Adventure Center to make sure that as people are renting bikes, that they're told what to be watching for. But there are some people, I think we've all seen the groups of 10, 12 people all riding en masse in one big amoeba, like, going down the road and people fleeing out of the way. So the idea is to try to make sure we have the experienced people on the road. And, the kids in that group can be up on the sidewalk, multi-use path, and be separated and feel safer. That's the thought process anyway.
And in the third plan, all on one side.
Yes, no crossing that way, yeah,
Before this goes to town meeting, I would
Yeah.
emphasize, you need to emphasize that this is not the same kind of a multi-use path as was
Right.
done 2 years ago.
Mhm.
right.
Mhm.
Yep,
Well, and again, the use of the curb seems to address some of the comments, some of the really strong comments that we
Right.
received about it
Mhm.
being a single level. Cause this multi-use path is built up a little
Oh,
bit.
yeah.
It's a few inches above. It's very identifiable with the curb.
Well, it'll look the same as
It'll look the
Same
same as that
as
section on
that
Valley
section
Road.
between Golden Heights and Lost Pass.
And
That's what it will look like.
Is that 8 feet wide? That's my question.
That is
Yeah.
8
Yeah.
feet
Okay,
wide.
so
Yeah.
it will. be
It'll
that
look
way.
yeah,
exactly like that.
Okay,
And then on one side, or on both sides, depending upon which option we choose, you just have the granite curbing to a grassy area. Does the public have any? Yes,
Pat.
Pat, hi.
Does that mean that we have abandoned the multi-use path that's part of the road,
no,
It's there at night.
what do you?
the third lane?
Well, what we're not doing here because of drainage primarily
Yeah.
is continuing on with the same
Design.
design, thank you, that we have for Valley and Tecumseh and Snows Brook. The engineers did look at that, but I think the idea was with the granite curbing on both sides, you're better able to funnel water the way we need to funnel water.
Yeah, that's the whole point of having the granite curbing on the both sides is for the water control. Yeah,
But that's not an issue when you first come into town.
No, it's not an issue on Valley Road or Tecumseh or Snows Brook Road.
because we have the right. of
Because
way
we
to
had a
make
big
it
enough
big.
right of way, we had drainage ditches basically on both sides of the road. We had more places to go with the drainage.
So drainage is the biggest consideration on.
Yeah, and that's
really
why
drove
option
this,
one,
yeah.
we looked at that approach. The way, extending what Snows Brook is right now. We looked at extending that around the corner and up the road, but you can't control the water. And it's also higher at BBTS than it is at Snows Brook intersection. So the water is all flowing right down the hill.
Maybe you can recall, I think, was it the March or April
Yeah.
rainstorm we had, and how on that one east side of Boulder Path, it was really gouged out, had to be repaired by the town and by Craig.
See, I guess my concern is that the current sidewalk, I call them sidewalks.
Sure.
With the curbing.
Mhm.
They're terrible for walking in the winter. They're never clean enough. They're never as clean as the road. And that's just gonna make more of the same.
Well, that was one reason why, it was an important reason why we chose the design that we did for the valley to come to Snows Brook. That's also a reason why one of the positive attributes of having this path road sidewalk all on one side, as Mark explained, we could use the wing of the vehicle and the snowcat. The problem, I think, Valley is you just don't have the width and you're right up against that guardrail at 4 feet.
And there's nowhere,
I'm a walker and I walk a couple of times a day. And I consider Tecumseh Road in Snowsbrook a tremendous success. Because in winter I can walk all at night.
Well, it sounds like you have better snow removal equipment now, so that the sidewalk shouldn't be as much of a problem. I hope so.
Well, and
It's-
part of, and something else to segue back to our previous public hearing, something to key in on as you're reading through the highway regulations and rules is the winter upkeep and, you know, the balance that they have to strike between who is available for staffing, how many hours and hours they're working, and do they focus on getting the vehicular way cleared more than the sidewalk, and how, you know, it's a struggle. I think.
Staffing issue is a major part of the issues we've had for the snow removal in the past, yeah. It's not just the equipment.
yeah, I'm anxious to see what the Bobcat snow blower does as opposed to the Chameleon that we've had. Hopefully it will be better.
There was a property management company that used it all in my neighborhood, and he did a fantastic job.
Mhm.
So I'm not sure, it was a Bobcat with the.
Yeah, it's
snowplow.
Bobcat,
Yeah,
same
and-
thing.
and-
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why we got this and.
Right. They did all the driveways and it got down to the pavement.
That's our hope.
I hope so.
And it's not just snow, right? You got the ice and everything else that could happen. Any other comments from the public for this public hearing? Okay, I don't see anyone looking to make any more comments, so I will close the public hearing on the Boulder Path Road multi-use path options. I'm sure we will have more public hearings and discussions about this. Would the board, any of the board members like to have any further comments on this at this time?
Nothing further? Nope.
All right, so we will then move on to privilege of the floor. Is anyone here for privilege of the floor? Yes, Eric, please come. That's right, you gotta exercise that knee, so, yeah.
So, here at Levy. Today I'm here to speak with you in the capacity of a town resident, not a conservation commission. We would like to inform you of a newly formed group. Brand new. The town has no non-discrimination statement on the website. So this is what we would like to work on. We're working on a non-discrimination resolution. We can call it a statement, we can call it a notice, we can call it a resolution. We haven't gotten that far. In light of the divisions in our country, we think it behooves us, the town of Waterville Valley, to include a statement that emphasizes a non-discriminatory environment similar to that of many other towns. Once we draft the language, we can recommend the statement to the select board for you to review and then move it toward adoption. So I'm just notifying you that this is happening. We have our first meeting Sunday, and hopefully after 2 meetings, we'll have a statement for you that you can review.
Great.
That's it.
Great, thank you.
Awesome, thanks.
Thank you. Anybody else for privilege of the floor?
I have a simple question while you're.
Yes, sir.
We've begun the acceleration of building up a kitty to pay for our part of the Lost Pass Road project when it happens. Is it still 2007?
We actually have a meeting on Friday to go over. the
1 o'clock.
CIP.
Just let me
Yep.
know.
Yep. we
Friday
can-
at 1 o'clock here, we'll
Yes.
be looking at,
The roads are part
Part
of
of
that
that discussion.
discussion.
yeah,
Yep,
I'm using cost estimates that
Yep.
David White's sort of giving me and trying to
sure.
see how much time I've got.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
anything else from privilege of the floor? All right, let us go ahead and move on to new business, the first item of which is the 4th of July fireworks proposed contract. I think everyone has seen it. Does anybody have, the board have any comments about moving forward with fireworks again for the cost? I think it was 13,000.
I think it was 12 last year, wasn't it?
It was 12 last year, it's up to
Right.
13 this year.
I'm trying to pull it up here. Little delay, there we go. Nope, no, that's not it. There we are. So it'll be $13,000. We're looking at the actual display date of the 4th of July, that Friday at 9:30 PM with a weather delay date of 6
That
July,
tracks for our schedule.
which would be
Right.
Sunday. So does the board have any comments? Do we want to go
Any
forward with this?
issues with the family day stuff or family fest?
Okay, so should we move forward with the fireworks contract?
Mhm.
Okay, what do you need from us? Anything
That's all
further
I
than that?
need. I'll
All
get
right.
it signed and we'll make the deposit.
Very good, right. The next item, new business,
Or is it fireworks the whole season?
No,
No.
the
The town's
season,
okay.
the town's portion is the 4th of July, just that day,
It's one night.
one day,
yeah, it went up tremendously in the post-COVID
yes.
period,
From 8 to 12.
8 to 12
in 1 year. Yeah, now we're up to 13.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, now it's 13.
now we're up to
For
13.
one night.
Yeah,
Well, on the fourth too.
on the 4th.
That's.
Yes.
That's what you have to lock in now if you want it on that day. Okay, the next topic under new business is the town treasurer replacement. So,
Yep.
I saw
we're
your list.
Sad to
Yeah.
say that Jeff will be ending his service to the town as the town treasurer on at the end of the year. So we are looking, for anyone who is watching this after the fact as well, we have an appointed treasurer here in town. So it is a select board appointed position to carry out our banking tasks, signing the checks. I'm sorry, Jeff Webb is our current treasurer. So
We're putting the word out that we
we're
will
putting
need
the
a
word out
new
and-
treasurer as of 1 January.
anyone who would be interested is welcome to
Contact Mark and
contact
he'll-
us.
and Steve, and they will tell you what the duties are.
Duties and responsibilities we'll go over with you, but it's a weekly requirement. We do checks weekly here. And bank reconciliations, all those fun treasurer sorts of duties, so.
And there's a small stipend
And there
involved.
is a small.
Stress the small.
We do not pay, so don't get, yeah.
Right,
Don't start any
Unless-
rumors about another
Right.
paid position, because
Right.
it's a stipend.
just a small stipend.
Yeah,
Do we know if any of these people are willing?
we haven't contacted anyone. Those were just examples of
Oh.
folks' ideas that we came up with. And if you have any
Does the
input, that's fine.
town treasurer have to be a resident of Waterville Valley?
No, you appoint them, so it can be anyone.
It doesn't have, to.
Anyone?
It can be, it can be anyone.
It doesn't have to be a resident
does
like
not have to
members
be
of
a
the planning board. or-
That's correct.
Okay,
She was out, she's not a resident.
all right. Moving on to the next issue, a new business is the water sewer fee structure. So this is the select board's initial look at the work that town staff was directed to do earlier this year with regard to revising our water and sewer fee structure. So once again, Mark, would you like to
So our water
provide
and sewer,
background?
yep, the water and sewer billing here in town is a flat rate system. For residential properties, for commercial properties, it's based on actual usage of gallons of water. So for the residential properties, when we have a building permit that has been completed on a new home or a new condominium, the code enforcement office goes out to do their final inspection for certificate of occupancy. They have a little score sheet that they take out with them. And they actually count the number of bathrooms, the number of half bathrooms, the number of showers, etc., all through the property. And they record the number of those items. It includes water fixtures, ice machines, water saunas, water coolers, anything that will use water. And there is a point number assigned to each one of those. We then total the number of points and we have a rate per point that's in our ordinance. The problem that we have is these score sheets have been being done since the 1970s. Okay? We do not have every one of the score sheets for every one of the properties in town. So, and we do not have any authority to go into a property if someone adds a faucet or removes a half bath or whatever. You can do that work on your own, and we don't have the right as the town to go in. So we do not know how accurate a lot of this information that we have is. So what we have proposed is finding a way to measure the capacity for a property to use water that's on a easily identifiable and proportional basis. And what we settled on was the number of bathrooms, number of bedrooms in the property. Because that says how many people can be there and your ability to use the majority of the water in the home. Okay, so what we have done, and this is the first pass at doing this, so we have not distributed this to the entire town yet till we showed it to the board. But we have calculated an amount per bedroom and amount per bathroom, a rate that would need to be instituted to raise what we are raising right now in revenue for both the water system and the sewer system. So we have a spreadsheet that we have done that does a comparison between what a property is currently paying based on this point system and what they would pay if we went to measuring it by bathrooms and bedrooms. And it does fluctuate, again, because this is so detailed and going down to the ice makers that's in a property, the changes, right, property to property vary, right? You might go down, you might go up. Just depends on what your point score was before,
I think,
compared to your bedrooms and bathrooms now.
right, so what we were looking for was a much more simple and accurate way to measure indirectly water usage, because we cannot, except for our commercials, bill people on the basis of water usage for a couple reasons. One of which is that the residents will then pay vast amounts of money for the water and sewer system because they're here year
All the
round.
time, yeah.
Right.
And we do not have water meters in every property in town. Sometimes it's just the building.
So
not-
that's
Not the
right.
actual
So
units.
that's why this seeming Rube Goldberg system was initially put together.
Yeah.
So we're looking for a more simple way to get at that measurement.
And our assessing records are very accurate, right? And they
Yeah,
are
bedrooms
updated
and bathrooms are
regularly.
easier.
By the assessors, and we have certain authority to find out how many bedrooms and bathrooms are there.
I think we were
As
also
part of the
looking for a revenue neutral the first time around.
Right.
In terms of the final amount of monies that we receive. And we have not discussed it, but we also have not forgotten to look at commercially installed irrigation systems at residential
Right.
properties, which will probably end up as I don't know if this is
A
the correct
flat
term, a
fee.
surcharge, a
A
flat fee
surcharge, yeah.
surcharge. Yes, Mike, you had a question.
So you have a spreadsheet now right, of the before and after with this new point
Yeah.
system?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is.
We will, if the board was okay with it, we were gonna put it up on the website and then hold a public hearing
Yeah, and
before we make.
Mhm.
the
do, are the numbers pretty much the same?
There's
or
no
are
rhyme-
people
there's
gonna
no
be
rhyme or
surprised?
There's no rhyme or reason. It really is a property by property thing. Some of them, what we are seeing though, that the properties, by doing this, small properties were tending to pay a larger amount prior. There are more of the smaller properties that are going down because each one of the things we were measuring had a weight. And so kitchen sinks were weighted more than an ice maker. It was ridiculous, really, when you go down through this. But some of the smaller properties had a lot of amenities, right? Maybe they had a sauna or something like that. So even though it's a one bedroom, they might be paying proportionally much higher than a 4-bedroom house or where a lot of people could stay. You know what I mean? So we feel that the bedroom and bathroom use or measurement is more accurate for what that property can actually use for water and sewage.
With all the people working out of their houses now,
Mhm.
you're gonna have a lot of folks suggesting their bedrooms are offices. So you need to set a rule up front on how you're gonna do that. If it
And we're gonna,
qualifies as a bedroom, it's a
Yep.
bedroom. If it doesn't have the windows to qualify as a bedroom. it's not.
and that is set by our building manual for the assessors. so
Just
that-
warning you.
yes,
you
that
have
is-
A lot of people asking.
Absolutely, and that's part of this. Well, it's not really equity, the measurement of it is exactly the same property to property
It's determined by building code.
and by building.
So let me ask the other board members, what's your opinion of going forward with the plan as
Distributing.
outlined by the staff?
I think it's good. One thing that it was kind of looking at the schedule,
Yeah,
it was kind of mice type. So
Yes.
I was curious about, what the range is, for a given house. I mean, is there anybody that's gonna go up $3,000 versus? It's all within a certain tolerance, which would be nice to know what that is.
okay.
It'd be nice to know that-
We'll
Okay,
do
we
some
can-
stats for you,
So it's,
the average
the
change.
lowest one's gonna
Yeah.
go down $200 and the
Yeah.
highest one's gonna go up $300.
And it's more in line with that, with what you just said.
At
So
the
the
lowest and
the
highest.
plus and minuses are in a couple of $100 range per quarter
On the high end.
on the high end.
Yeah, it'd be nice to just
Yeah.
know what that.
We'll know what
what
the
the
average
tolerance is.
is.
Okay, so that's one thing we'd like to know before we finally move forward with this.
And
But I think we're okay with the concept
Oh,
of
yeah.
bedroom, bathroom.
Yeah.
Okay,
I was curious to know what the formula is.
The formula is total amount raised divided by total number of bedrooms, total number of bathrooms, currently for both water and
And
sewer.
sewer.
So there are two different rates,
Yeah.
but it's applied equally whether it's a bedroom or a bathroom.
And
So we did
that's-
not weight the bedrooms more than the bathrooms. We just said, what are the total number of rooms? If you look at the last page on the
Mhm.
sheet, there's a total number of rooms. And we basically took what we're currently raising per quarter, and
Okay.
we divided it by that number of rooms.
So that would be the set rate for going forward.
That would be
as
the
new
set rate
construction.
going forward, because that will give us our anticipated, because we've raised about 3/4.
right, well, we
of
have
the
one more
total
bill this
We have
year,
one more
so
bill.
this would come into effect at the April,
April
the
bill.
first
Correct,
quarter bill,
first quarter bill for
2025, right?
And then as expenses increase for the.
We
town,
would
we do
adjust that
percentage
Like
across.
if you say we need to increase the total collected by 5%,
Right,
we would add 5% to those rates that we're currently showing.
The two rates at the
The
bottom.
two rates at the bottom.
sorry, so the 17 and the 20.
The 1709 and the
Yeah,
2214
1709. Yeah.
for the water and the
2214.
22 for the 14 for the sewer. Bob, you had a comment or a question?
I was just gonna say my ice machine hasn't been working very well. Like to get an abatement.
Is there a distinction between a half bath and a full bath?
Yes. Yes, they count as 1.5 or, yeah, the assessors measure it that way, so we're using those numbers, yeah. Any other questions, thoughts, initial comments? And it's easier for Dave, he's not filling out this score sheet and trying to determine
That's
whether
crazy.
something's a jacuzzi or a
Well,
sauna.
and a lot of times, we don't even have the appliances are not
Right.
even in when we're doing some.
Yeah,
finance
well, yeah.
inspections. And
Yeah.
We're going off with the contractors and looking for a water line here that potentially could be.
Yeah, this makes it more fair as well as more simple.
Have separate water meters for the new condos, Golden Heights.
Yes.
We do,
Do,
Mhm.
so it's not per building.
not
Not the new
there.
ones.
Not there, yeah. A lot of the ones that we didn't install a meter in the individual condo unit was because there was no place to put it.
Like ours. Truck
Yeah.
permit.
So commercial, we have
Commercial-
meters.
It's
Where
usage.
we've got meters and we bill them based on usage and we're not proposing changing the current rates unless we adjust all the
As
rates.
the overall rates,
Yeah.
right? All right. So I think the board's decision is to move forward with this
Okay.
structure, and I think we wanted a little bit more information about
Yeah, we'll give you some.
the highs
statistics.
and lows and where, the means, the
Yeah.
average, all that kind of stuff. But I think it's definitely a better way to step forward. All right,
Yeah.
and so we will have that additional information in time for our next meeting, or,
Yes,
okay, so that's December 4th.
well, we'll take it up the first time. You don't have to adopt it then, but we
Right.
need it adopted before the end of December.
Right, well, that gives us 2 meetings if we don't do a special meeting.
Okay.
Okay, let's move on to old business. So let's talk about the upper entrance project to the,
Yep, they started
Yeah.
installing the posts for the fence today.
Mhm.
The actual fence itself and the gate will probably be after Thanksgiving. But it'll be as weather allows at this point, but at least we.
and that'll be
we
the
have
end
those
until the
posts.
spring when we'll do the
That'll be,
landscaping.
Yeah,
Okay, any questions from the board on that? Okay. So we're gonna look again at the Public Works highway regulations. I think we can give you some comments. And we will be looking again at the Boulder Path Road update, sure, a number of times. I think that takes care of old business. If no one has any further comment, any of those topics, let's move on to,
Like us to schedule that second public hearing for your December 4 meeting,
for the,
highway regulations,
I thought we
no,
were
no, we're
reviewing.
No.
gonna go 18.
18.
I think that was 18, right?
The 4th, we're gonna bring back the edits.
Gotcha.
And review it one more time, hopefully.
Thank you.
Okay, department head reports. Let's go ahead and Steve, since you spoke up, let's go ahead and start with the administrative
Thank you.
department.
Couple of minor points to note. We're going to be, I mentioned this at our last selectmen's meeting, we were gonna take care of the flooring in this conference room the first week of December, so December 2 and 3.
3,
They'll be working down here, to install some new carpeting, so this room will be offline. It's my intention to have it back online for our meeting on the 4th. And then, I think we'll hit that milestone of this initiative.
On that point, we're gonna have to I think we're gonna have to move the meeting time, if not the day. Was that, when is Sharon's?
18.
That's, okay, so it's the
Yeah.
next meeting we gotta move.
Correct.
Okay, strike that. All right, continue.
And then on the 5th and 6th is Thursday and Friday of that week, the flooring company will be moving upstairs into the administration department. So we'll be looking to close the office on those 2 days. We'll have staff here, but, the traffic coming in and out. We won't be able to accommodate folks on the 5th and 6th at town hall. And then for a reopening on Monday, the 9th.
I assume that the drainage work that was done a few years ago is fixed, quote unquote, the problem that we had down here with drainage?
Well, don't say those things out loud.
Yeah, well, Murphy's gonna strike whether I think it or say it.
Yes,
But-
we addressed, the wall has been much better, the floor has been much better since we did the drainage.
Okay,
It is very humid down here though,
Yeah.
so the water does absorb pretty rapidly in the carpeting, but.
okay,
And then, you had alluded to, Sharon here, so I think I sent out notice to quite a few of you in the room that Sharon's last day with us will be December 20th, and we are looking to have a, farewell and good luck celebration on the 18th at the Freestyle Lounge from 4 PM to 6 PM.
The 18th.
On the 18th, it's a Wednesday. So very hopeful that everybody can join us in, saying a prayer for me and.
why, I assume that the job search is underway and has been for a bit of time.
It is, we've had two, second interviews this week and we hope to make a decision by week's end.
All right, so we'll address the calendar conflict when we get to calendar
Very good.
with the select board meeting. Okay, anything else on administrative services?
That's all I have for now.
Very good. Brooke, what's happening in rec?
Not sure if you've noticed, but we have acquired our new van.
I haven't seen it yet. No, what you were, did you go, I think you picked it up, was it yesterday?
Sandra and I drove to Massachusetts yesterday to pick it up. It was a long day. It's great, it drives really nice and we're excited to have it. So I'm sure you'll be seeing it around town.
Does it have decals on it or anything?
Not yet.
Not yet.
No, we'll be getting a design for some decals that will go on it. So hopefully that will look really great. We still have to register it, get the government plates on it and such, but it's really great. It's got, it's 14, amazing what they can fit in that configuration and everything. So
And that was still, was a 14 person,
it's 14 passenger, 15 total.
15
people.
with the driver,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Okay,
So we'll have some considerations for this van that we didn't have for the bus, such as like children won't be able to ride in the passenger seat because of airbags. There'll be some things that we'll have to do a little differently than the bus, so.
Okay.
We have, what's going on at the rec right now is we have our, opening speaker series. We're working with the Race Center to host the speakers in the, multi-purpose room. So Tyler's working on that with Leah. And this Friday, Margot Burns will be presenting, witches and fake news at 6 o'clock on Friday. So that will be at the multi-purpose room. Also, our Letters to Santa will start this Friday. That's a really cool program for kids or grandkids or whatever kids you know about, tell them about it. They will get a letter back from Santa. We also have a private rental this Saturday, a big hockey group, from 12 to 3 and all our other programs around it. And we will be closed for the holidays starting on Wednesday at 12 PM. all the way through the holiday, and then, of course, kicking off all our activities on Friday morning, all the way through the weekend. So we have lots going on, including a kids' night out on Saturday night, as well as laser tag and open gyms and pickleball and all the things. So we also have a hike going out on Sunday at 8:30 a.m. And the other piece of exciting news I have is that we will be submitting our updated second edition guidebook copy to the printer on Friday with a hopeful ship date of
Great.
December 20th. So
No. You missed the whole holiday season. All right.
so
I have a waiting list growing and
yeah,
top of
we'll
people
hope
wanting.
for a sooner ship date, but
Okay.
it's a very busy
Yeah.
little printer situation.
Yeah. All right,
Okay,
I'll break it to them.
That's all we have.
lights,
We'll have them.
Oh, the lights, yeah, they're in town.
Mhm.
and
Yeah, I
I'm
noticed
sure
them.
you've Noticed, I
Yep.
have as well. They're just working away at all the various locations that they have contracted. So it's exciting.
Sorry, going back to the book, does it have a different cover?
No,
Okay. So,
to say second edition.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. Is there a way to like do a little poster like coming soon and That we
we could
could-
do that, that's a good idea.
That would, I think, help
Okay,
a lot of people who are,
This is Steve Smith's guide.
yeah,
yeah.
The second edition.
Is it revised at all?
It's just edited and there's a few revisions, corrections, things like that, but it's not, it's not major content. We had to add the skyline patch,
course, yeah.
there's lots of different things
Yeah.
that we did to it, but it's no major.
Changes. Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Yes, you wanna have it.
And yes, Wendy, I can work on
It's
that.
new and
Yeah.
improved.
Yeah, just to kind of help people like plan.
Okay.
Is the new and improved version gonna cost more than the original version?
What?
Cost more?
You know what? We need to figure that out because these books are costing more to us than the
Different, yeah,
previous one.
sure.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how that will change. I need to discuss that with Mark and see what we want to charge to the wholesaler, because that's most of our sales.
Yeah.
We sell books here and there through the mail and in our lobby to people, but most of what we sell are to people like Wendy, Steve Smith,
To shop, right.
there's a place in Meredith, we have a couple different spots where we will sell. But probably Wendy does most of our sales, I would guess.
Okay.
So we have to figure out what we want that to be. It's been $15.
Mhm.
Wholesale?
It retails for 25.
Right,
It's $15 to wholesale. This is our previous run.
hmm
And I believe we got each copy close to $6 or $7, and this copy will be about $9.50.
Hmm.
So there may be a dollar or two difference.
Yeah.
But the retail amount will be the same. Because it's, I think.
Well,
Unless
why
we
would
want
the
to-
retail
No,
amount go
we'll-
up?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll
the
talk
retail
about it.
amount will
Oh,
go up.
sorry, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
okay.
We should probably, get to talking about that. Soon, because actually. Isn't the retail amount on the book?
Yeah,
Yeah, so I need to,
yeah.
Oh, I hope they haven't printed. them.
no, we haven't,
Okay.
we haven't sent it.
Okay.
We're still within,
We'll go over it before the end
Yeah.
of the week.
so if we want to change those numbers, then we'll
Okay.
do that. But it is very exciting to have that, kind of in the works.
Great.
Okay.
And we'll hope for a sooner ship date, Wendy.
Yeah.
Okay.
But information for the public would,
The only people
Help.
I've heard about it is you and Mike Aronson.
Oh,
It's
okay.
interesting.
Huh.
I don't have, people are coming to you because you sell the book,
yeah.
Well, he
Yeah.
gives it out.
Anyway, all right, great, thanks.
Okay, anything else, Rec?
That was the last thing I had, but
Okay.
unless you have any other questions.
No,
about
any
the
questions from the
van or-
board on Rec?
I don't know if I missed it from last meeting, but did you have a comparison already for the boats? I know we've been talking
We're,
about.
we're
that for a
doing
while.
that right now.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So we'll have that before we do the
You'll have
budget?
you'll have it during, yes,
Just be nice to be able to review it
yes,
beforehand.
you will.
Yeah,
You
we
will,
had. I had been
before you
working
do
on
her
that.
budget.
We have been discussing it. One other thing I wanted to see though, in conjunction with what the vote numbers are for my own budget. Is I really want to put together kind of a graph for all the venues of. Just because we have this complication of us moving locations with the boats and at the weather year.
Mhm.
I think it would be helpful to see the other venues in town to show what I know that they've all been on decline, except for the athletic club. Mostly all the venues have been at a slight decline.
Not as much, so.
Well,
I mean,
that's what
but-
I want
but
to
yeah,
see. I think
so-
that would be helpful because you have that information at the
Yeah.
WVRA. I think it'd be helpful to show everybody kind of what's going on with the other venues, so we can sort of have that part of the conversation.
Maybe I'll reach out to Jan and. see.
Well, I have the numbers. She
Oh,
just
okay.
wasn't able to put them into a graph for me, so.
We'll work on the
Yeah.
graph.
Yeah, I think context would be obviously
Yeah.
the
Yeah, it's
important.
just part of the
Mhm.
conversation that I
Oh,
think is
sure.
useful.
Yeah, yeah.
right?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Anything else for Rec? Good. Chief, what's happening in public safety?
We had our first run up on the mountain already today.
Oh.
Oh,
Yikes.
Didn't take too long, did it?
early. Yeah,
Oh.
they got up on a 70-foot jump at the top up there that we figured was gonna drum up some business.
Mm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
70 foot.
yeah, it's pretty significant, but you're talking USD team, so supposedly they know what they're doing. Other than that, in the notes over there, what's consumed us is a little bit, just in the last week, this week was the floor drain. issue out here. Dana White did come out, take a look at it,
Yeah,
and tried to get some suggestions on what he thought might be some solutions for us, you know, moving forward. So right now, the drains will not drain totally. It's a slow drain, so complicates us for washing vehicles, drain pumps, that sort of thing currently in the fire bay. We've isolated it between this retaining wall and our front door of the bay. So it's under the pavement of where it is. It's Schedule 30 pipe that's 50 years old. If you want to look at it where it daylights out here, just on the left of the path, right next to the bush, you could crinkle it with your hands. It's that brittle. And so there's several places that it's broken. And we know that it's probably broken, and where we could get a camera in, we had Rowells come in to try to clean it from this end going up. They were unsuccessful. There was too much sand, and they were fearing that they were undermining in a break somewhere, so they stopped. We used our camera. We were able to get in from, there's a, I don't know if at one point the gutter drained into the drain, but there is one in the wall right here. Jim and I dug it out. We shot it down, goes to the Y, that's about 10 feet down, which is probably down just below the wall here. And you could see that the Y was shattered and broken, and about fist-sized rocks inside there. We could flow water between here and there, but you can't flow water going the other way, coming down. So Dana's working on a worst case, like as I indicated in the report, a worst case scenario of what it would take. Of course, I think we have to abandon that section just because of the age of the pipe and the condition, you know, to say that it's broken here, go in and fix it, I don't think is the issue. So what do we do moving, you know, what are we looking at moving forward? If we are running out the floor drains, if you upgrade it, we're required to put a sand oil separator in there. His suggestion is there potentially could be a tank in front of the door, kind of in that pad between the parking area and our building, the front of the building. He's getting a quote on a 1,500 or 2,000. He asked his distributor what's typical in those, and it was one of those two options. Then if you were to run a drain to daylight from here to say the drainage at the top of the hill, that would alleviate some of the maintenance created by putting a tank in there. If you just put a tank, now you have to pump it on a regular basis. If you daylight it, then you don't have to pump it as often, then you can then just maintain it once it gets full of debris or sediment, sand, that sort of thing. The other issue is this retaining wall. Looking, since they put it in there, you can see that it's sinking. You can see the wood that's in there is now tilted down where they used to be in there straight. And so there's a potential settling issue, and I don't know if that's runoff from, you know, snow and water or age, just the age itself. They have shored it up over here. He uses some engineered block. He's gonna give us a number on what that would look like having to repair this retaining wall out here, over here. So my concerns is that when does it not become structurally sound? You know, at the current condition, it is, but I don't know how much longer it's gonna last.
So is the water draining out from inside the barn, okay?
No.
No. It's not
No.
anymore, so we can follow it, we camera it from the repair that they made, that we did in May, is fine. There was a pipe that came in, we thought was a hole in the repair. It's not. It was actually a cutout to a roof vent that used to be the roof drain when it was flat. It's now a vent, which is then tied to the bathroom that's in there. We cambered that. That is almost full with, it's, goes from PVC to cast iron. And the amount of rust and debris in the bottom of that, it's almost full, so that's going to end becoming event eventually. But we couldn't get water flowed because we think there's a trap there.
So you got a problem in the barn, but
Yeah.
also coming out of the barn and going over this way. You got,
Well, yeah, where it comes out of the barn, there's a green mark right by the door to the bay. Everything is good up to there. It's from that green mark
oh,
Just
to
outside.
here.
Yeah.
That the problem is somewhere in there.
so
That's
is the green
where-
mark towards the front of the building?
Yeah, it's only
Yeah.
about a foot in front of the door.
Okay.
That's where the pipe comes out of the building, and then there's about a 4-foot drop. Okay, we can get down that drop, but we can't make the corner. We can't go past that. There's standing water in that drop.
So it's backing, and then what happens is it backs up all the way into the bay. Like when they're washing a cruiser, or if we had to drain a pump or something like that, the water doesn't go out quickly. So we get standing water
Then it's
in there, and then it stinks, and,
Yeah,
you know.
it'll eventually go down. If
It'll
you
go
give it
down.
12 hours,
right,
it will clear the pipe.
Yeah.
But where's that water going?
Not necessarily.
Where you want it.
Well,
You know, we fixed the issue of it eroding underneath the floor,
maybe,
maybe, we think,
we think.
but it didn't address this section of the pipe, and who knows?
And the problem is it's started to erode within this retaining wall. Like
Right.
it's, and part of that bowing and the problems that we're having in the retaining wall could be because of this leak.
Yeah.
So we have no idea what's happening under the parking lot.
Right.
So that's a
Reynolds
major,
and us couldn't get any further, either this way or this way.
So, I don't wanna
Okay.
get into this, defining this thing,
No.
but could you put a tank? Move the retaining wall out and put a tank on that side of the retaining wall, and then, so you move everything out that way? Instead of putting a tank right in front of the building.
Well, you can't, you still gotta run the pipe from the building.
you gotta run the pipe to it. So
Right,
you're
but
gonna be
then
digging-
you don't have to bury a 2,000 or 3,000 gallon tank.
Well,
Yeah.
it's a smaller hole in front of the bay. But the problem is, we're still gonna be working right at the entrance to the town hall.
Yeah, anyway.
Well, no, that's part of what we're struggling with, is how to, I think, just digging a trench and getting the pipe away from the building and then doing the hole might be a better way.
That's what I was thinking, so.
Yeah, or instead of coming here, I think going towards the maintenance building potentially. Problem is, we've got electricity, we've got water,
Yeah,
we've got
utilities, you have a test
telephone
pit,
lines,
you have a
Brand
test
new
pit,
pavement.
brand new pavement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
brand new pavement.
Well, and you have the entrance to our office.
Yeah.
And customers,
Yeah.
so,
At least right now, Dana thinks he could put a 15 to 2,000 gallon tank right in front of
the door,
Patrick's window,
yeah,
Mhm.
basically. In front of the parking spots, and
Mhm.
it will not extend in front of the entrance to town hall. And then we can focus on just doing that. And that would catch the pipe that we know is good to go directly into that, but then it creates more of a maintenance issue.
Yeah.
You
So
know,
will
then
we
you gotta
have,
pump it out. And we got 500 gallon tanks. If we do a dump in there, you could be pumping that 2 or 3 times a year.
Hmm.
are we gonna have any preliminary estimates for whatever options are available for this Friday's?
I was hoping he was just at least gonna give us some materials and based on square footage, say, he was gonna do 3 of them separately. One for the tank, one to run the pipe to the daylight
Mm-hmm,
across, and then one for the retaining wall, and we could all look at those options and make a decision. For now, what we're gonna try to do is, there is a separate tank on the back side of the building, on the back bay where engine 2 is.
Hmm.
It's pretty dirty. We need to get a company to clean that out, and we can at least use that temporarily
Yeah.
for the winter time to wash vehicles and
Okay.
do that sort of stuff,
Okay.
to get us by.
And hopefully don't have a leak.
Okay. So we may not necessarily have any numbers to integrate into
No,
our
because I don't
discussions on
think that-
Friday.
Yeah, it's where
Too
it's
early.
still at the beginning.
All right, so that'll be a big asterisk
Mhm.
for that
I
discussion.
mean, I throw a number at it, but who knows?
Yeah.
All right,
But
Anything else?
other than that, we're just, getting winter tires changed out and, just getting ready, ready for the season. I don't know if there's any other questions that, perhaps I didn't cover there. We just did the ski area inspections yesterday, for the base lodge, T-bars, admin, snowmaking, clinic, all those, so. Just working on those reports, like I indicated in there, we just did Black Bear, Silver Fox. They're going much smoother, now. I think it's very helpful when they have our inspection reports to see everything that they need to do, because then it creates more of a checklist for them. And we're seeing a little bit better compliance and getting them taken care of. Which makes our lives a little easier.
Any other questions for public safety?
Nope.
All right. Shall we
Hold,
turn?
hold on
Yep.
for non-public after.
Yeah. Public Works.
They worked on the Theater Under the Stars area, cleaned out the wall and stage per the resort's request. So they are,
Where did
they're
it all
gone.
end up?
It's up above. The usable material is up above by Lagoon 3, where our other storage area. So we'll keep it up there for the winter, and then depending on what happens
Yeah.
in the spring, but we were told we had to clean that out, and this was the last good day before it appears winter is coming in, so.
Mhm.
So that's what they were doing that. The trucks are all set up, everything is ready to go. We got probably 2 or 2.5 storms worth of salt sand ready to go. And we're just waiting to see what happens with whether it's freezing rain or snow or just regular rain. I've seen everything from several inches to a glaze to rain,
Yeah.
so who knows? Water sewer. The superintendent is off being a happy new dad.
Yay.
Everett Richard was born on the 9th, and everybody's doing great. He'll be out through Thanksgiving holiday, and then coming back the first week of December. So the engineers are continuing with design work on the treatment plant and the other projects that we've had going on, so no change in those. Any other questions or? Okay,
Well, the operation's going fine, transfer
Operation
station.
going fine, transfer station is working well.
One thing about that I've noticed the last few times I've been down there is I thought the gate would be closer to the house. So when I drive up and I turn to go to the
To the right,
dumpsters,
right. Yeah, you
I
can't-
never even
can't
seen,
see.
I never even see anybody. So I don't know whether they're looking out at me and they know who I am or what, but it's. I
Okay.
kind of envision that they'd drive up and there'd be a window right there and
Right.
they'd stick their head out and they'd say, hey Bob, how you doing, and.
Okay, I'll talk to Megan about that, but they are watching everybody who comes in and out.
I just
and
don't, I
I've
don't even
been
see
there-
anybody and
I've been there when they've walked out and talked to people.
so it might be they just recognize me and that's not.
Yeah, but it is a good thing to talk to her about, but the distance between the gate and
Where people pull over to unload
The
because
shed.
it's on the other
Yeah.
side of the other side of the station, transfer
Yeah.
station. Okay. Anything else for Public Works from anybody? All right, let's move on to, I guess we got all the departments, yep. Approval of minutes. Does anyone have anything else they'd like to add to the three sets?
Nope.
All right, so I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as amended, presented to us and amended for the regular meeting of October 23rd, 2024, the special meeting of October 30th, 2024, and the regular meeting of November 6th, 2024. Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
All right,
Aye. Okay, financial report.
Okay, so you have the revenue and expense reports in your packet. We are doing a hard scrub of all of the numbers, toward getting towards year end. We are, right now, if everything comes in over the last month as it normally does, revenues, we will make revenues for the year for the adjusted numbers that we did back at the end of August on the 434
Mhm.
form. So we're gonna be somewhere around 20-30,000 to the good. That's pretty low for the year, but we will make budget. The expense reports, because we made the transition to BSNA, Steve's going line by line down through every department to make sure that everything that we have recorded is correct. And we are concerned because of the extensive emergency repairs we made for the storms. So highways in particular, the highway department is over budget. We are tracking, though, what the impact on the bottom line is. I did have a chance to talk to the municipal director at DRA. If we feel during the last couple of weeks of December that there is a chance we would overexpend the total budget, we can do a request to DRA to credit that overage to our fund balance. In essence, we'd be doing an emergency appropriation from fund balance, but they don't like to see that unless it's absolutely necessary. And we have historically returned between 100 and 200,000 at the end of the year
Mhm.
in the budget. So right now we're tracking so that we will make it, but if we had big snowstorms or some other unanticipated expenses, we're a lot closer this year than we have been. So we may, I may come out in the meeting at the 18th and say we should go ask for an appropriation of 50 or 100,000
From our fund
emergency
balance, which is
fund
required by law. But that's only because we haven't been reimbursed by
That's correct,
FEMA.
from FEMA, yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So it'll balance out
It
in the
will
end.
balance out in the end,
But
but
We're required
we're
to
required to do that.
do it this way.
Yeah. So, but other than that, did you see anything on the revenues or expenses that you have any questions on?
Nope.
Nope, all right.
And we almost have the 2025 initial budget ready for you. Just doing formatting from BSNA to
Mhm.
the reports that you look at when we sit down with the department heads.
Okay,
I want to make them clearer than what's coming out of the machine right now,
yeah.
so.
We've
We're
set
working-
our dates, haven't we, for?
No, we have not set the dates
For our
for the
budget,
budget.
we just
I
said
was-
what, the first
The
week?
first week of December
December is
is
what
what we were
okay.
targeting, but
Oh.
I may need one more week. I may need the week of the 9th, but
Okay.
I'll let you know.
You don't want to set
I'll
them
let you know
today?
by Friday. I'd like to continue to work on it.
Right, I
on the
mean,
format.
we're here now. Do you want to see
Oh, what's your availability the week of the 9th?
week of the
Is it
9th?
Okay,
Might as well.
Okay, might actually be a little bit easier because, we have Customer Appreciation Day on the 5th. Everyone out there?
and we just have a
Yeah.
planning board meeting on the 12th. That's the only.
Yeah.
We do? Oh, we do, yeah. Yeah, Tuesday, I'm completely open anytime Tuesday. I would say, Monday afternoon, anytime Tuesday, Wednesday afternoon. Thursday's gonna be bad
Yeah, Thursday's
for
fine.
me.
Thursday.
Anytime Friday, what works for me.
Friday's bad.
Friday's
We don't
bad.
wanna do
It's
it on
Friday the
Friday
13th. We're
yeah.
not doing.
All right,
that.
so Monday, at least Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so
Is
any,
that okay with you, Bob? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday?
yeah, so Monday and Wednesday afternoon is good
I
for me.
guess, I don't know.
Anytime
Okay,
Tuesday. So want to pick those three, usually take about 3 days, don't we?
around 3 days. So we'll target 9, 10, 11.
9, 10, 11, 9 afternoon, 10 all day.
Well, I'll get you
Well,
times.
open all day,
Yeah.
right, and
Yeah.
Wednesday afternoon. Does that work?
And
for
you
everybody?
would like afternoons,
Um,
generally easier for you.
yeah, generally, but morning, yeah, that's fine for that week.
Okay,
All right,
all right. I will get you.
hold
some
that in abeyance
proposed
then. No other things
Dates
planned.
and times. All right,
Very good. All right, so we're down to financial, why actually, we're now talking calendar. Our next,
Actually, sorry, I'm
Oh,
just
go ahead.
realizing on the 10th, we do have the MSW and the town car working, which we could push, but
Yeah,
it's
we'll-
the only other thing.
I'll work around
Yeah.
and probably do afternoon on the 10th.
Okay.
Good.
okay, continuing on calendar review, our next select board meetings at 3 p.m. here on the 4th of December. This Friday, we'll be meeting at 1 o'clock here, 22nd of November, to talk about the capital improvement plan. Also, the day before, Thursday, tomorrow, the planning board is meeting at 8 a.m. in a special meeting to go over a number of topics.
Mhm.
I think to review one potential zoning amendment,
Mm-hmm.
and to review the site plan review regulations. And I think there was a third thing added to it.
There's two other things. There's
the-
there's one other thing,
Yeah.
Mr. Lawler.
That's right. We asked him to come back. That's what I
Yeah.
was thinking of. Was there something else beside that?
Well, we've got a plan that's gonna be mentioned. That's been submitted as of yesterday.
Oh, a site,
A site, no,
no.
site plan,
right?
design review request.
A design review request. Okay.
Yeah.
So that'll be brought to the
That'll
board's
be-
attention
It'll be
tomorrow.
brought to their attention, yeah.
Okay. And I think we need to review the time for the December 18th select board meeting, because we now
Yeah.
have, Sharon's, going away celebration scheduled for 4 o'clock, so we'll have to meet earlier.
2-person.
Yeah. Do you guys want to meet earlier that day? On the
18th.
on the 18th, excuse me? I am okay meeting earlier on the 18th.
Yeah, fine.
One,
One, probably because we'll need, let's assume the usual 2 to 3 hours,
2 hours.
2 hours.
But we got a public hearing.
Well, we got a public hearing, yeah,
Yeah.
so we'll have
Right.
to
Good.
potentially 1 o'clock on the 18th instead of 3 o'clock.
Right. Oh, you're, oh.
Good, be a happy Santa after a few drinks of the freestyle.
You're not Santa, you're his helper.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
You're the secretary.
The secretary. All right.
Okay, I think that takes care of the calendar review. Let's move on to board concerns and directives. Anybody have anything they'd like to?
I provided the update, project update
Yeah.
status.
Yep, anyone have any comments on?
If you guys have a chance before Friday, just take a look at what's going on Tecumseh, and you'll see the posts and,
Okay.
just make sure we're going in the right direction.
Yeah.
The gate will come across, it will be level at the top. There's gonna be a little bit of an opening as you're looking at the gate on the bottom left-hand side, because the slope
Sure.
goes down to the stream.
Mhm.
So we're planning on just covering that with vegetation.
Okay.
In the spring.
Okay.
But I wanted to keep the level of the fence consistent across the front for the look.
And just to note that the repairs on the bridge going over towards the Mad River Trail look really nice.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. I haven't been
Yeah.
that way in a bit, so.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
We should probably pick up those whiskey barrels on the beach. I think there are 4 of them.
Okay.
Dead plants in it.
Okay.
There's some trash strewn about too. Take a look.
So are we just picking
Storing
those
them.
up and stashing them?
I think just those 4. We're gonna leave all the others out, I think,
Yes.
around town.
That's what we were planning.
Just to get rid of those because they tend to become
Mhm.
trash receptacles.
Receptacles.
Yeah.
Yep. During the winter.
Okay, nothing else, board concerns and directives? Correspondence?
Nothing for right now.
Nothing, all right. Do I have a motion to go into non-public for a legal matter and a reputational matter?
Mhm.
All in favor? Or
Aye.
second, I'm sorry, second,
Aye.
Bob, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, let us know, Sharon, when we're no longer recording.
Chicken scratch. Kind of check the